Before we start writing codes for the categories content, let's review these two lines of code in more details. The first line is simply to select the categories ID field from table C and categories image from table C and the parent ID from table C. It also selects the categories name from another table called table CD, where table C is referring to table categories, while the table CD is referring to table categories description. And the selection criteria is where the parent ID of table C is equal to the current categories ID, which in this case is equal to 1, which is the hardware categories, which we input the current category ID is equal to 1 in the code, and the other criteria is the categories ID of table C is equal to the categories ID of table CD. And the last criteria is the language ID of table CD is equal to the variable language ID, which is equal to 1, which we input in the code. Language ID is equal to 1. In other words, it is English language. Let's take a look at the table categories and table category description. The first line of code is to select the categories ID, category image, and parent ID from table categories, and select the categories ID from table category description, where the parent ID is equal to 1 in our example. So the record that meets this criteria is this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 records. There are 8 records with the value of parent ID equal to 1. And the second criteria is that the categories ID of table category is also equal to categories ID of table categories description. So this record, and this record also equals this record, 16 equal to 16, 17. And the final criteria is that the language ID is equal to 1. So this all records are equal to 1. So if we inspect or check the tables, we find out that these 8 records will meet the selection criteria. So the second line of code simply to fetch the records into an array and stored in the categories variables. In other words, the categories variable will store these X records in an array. So actually, we already got all the data. The only thing we need to do is to get the data out from the categories variable and display the records one by one on the web page. To start with simple, I will try to print out the first record from the categories variable. Let's remove this unused lines. Get the data. Get the data. No, data. This line simply means to get the first record from the categories variable with the field name categories ID. This is a line break. Cool. This line simply to get the data from the categories variable with the field name categories name. No. Now we are going to display the category image. We will use the osCommerce custom function get image function that we learned before in previous tutorial. The first parameter is the path of the image. Category image. And the parameter is the object of the image. Let's check the codes. Okay. Let's save the file. Upload the file to the home directory of osCommerce website. copy the file name. So the categories ID, the categories name, and category image now displaying on the web page. Now we got the first record from the categories variable successfully. In the next tutorial, we will arrange the data in a table format, so it will look more professional.